I was first elected in 2000, so I began serving in the House in 2001. And so I've been there 12 years, and this, should I win this election, would be my final term in the Senate. So I'm one of the, I guess, senior members of the Helena delegation and of the Montana State Senate. And I feel in many ways like I have a duty to represent the people in my district, to go back to the legislature because I have the experience to get things done. I've built the relationships across the aisle and among my own colleagues that allows me to be effective in that setting. And so I need to go back and try to finish on a high note and work to pass progressive policy in the state of Montana.
What kinds of issues are you looking to try to close or continue with, which is part of the reason you're coming back?
You know, for the past 6 sessions that I've been there, I've been privileged to serve on either the budget committees or the tax committees. So I get to think about how we should bring the money or bring resources into the state in a fair and equitable way, and then how we should invest those resources to the benefit of all of the citizens of the state of Montana. And to me, that's the primary thing that the legislature does, is to set forth the values that we hold in a document that's called the budget, and say these are the issues and the people that we want to concern ourselves with, whether it's building more infrastructure or better infrastructure, funding public schools, making sure the safety net is in place. All these issues I think are critically important to Montanans, and I want to continue being involved in those kinds of discussions in the legislature.
So one of the issues that's big right now is the big oil boom out east. Do you think that money should be brought back to the whole state of Montana or left in those counties, and what do you think of the tax holiday?
Well, though I've tried 3 sessions at least to get rid of the oil and gas tax holiday when prices are high enough that companies will still make that kind of investment in Montana. And all 3 times that bill has been defeated. But essentially it says for the first 18 months of production, you don't have to pay but a pittance to the state of Montana. And that's the exact period of time when they are creating all of these impacts in communities in eastern Montana. So I think the tax holiday should go away. I think a portion of that should be directed directly to infrastructure development in those eastern Montana communities to help handle the influx of the people, but then also a portion of it should be shared statewide for the taking of resources that really cannot be replaced.
Tell me about the difference you see with your opponent, and I have never met him before, but what you see in the differences.
You know, my opponents lived in the community 2 or 3 years, maybe 3 years, and I am rooted in the Helena community. I haven't lived here all my life. I wasn't born here, but I've lived here well over 20 years, lived in Montana, I believe, 28 years, and I think you need to be involved in a community and kind of understand it for a period of time before you really can represent it. So I feel like I've been embedded in the community. I have experience at the legislature as well as in community advocacy around a number of issues. I have lots of relationships with constituents, with constituency groups, and I just feel I can do a better job of representing this district. There's the other obvious differences in the policy positions we hold. He is a Republican, and he holds positions about deregulation, about the support for private voucher kind of schools, and that, so he holds many positions that are categorically opposite from mine. Education, also environmental protection, deregulation of industry, and so on. So I think the voters will find a definite contrast between us, and we'll see what vision for Helena and the state of Montana they decide is the best one. I hope they choose me.
And where is your...
I'm west of Montana Avenue up to the Continental Divide, really, so a large swath, basically from Montana west.
Okay. And have you, as you've been campaigning door to door, heard any major issues that you plan on putting forward from your constituents?
People are always concerned about public education financing, and what kind of commitment the state is going to make to making sure schools can provide the quality they need to make sure that kids graduate from high school and are well prepared for the job market of this century. So I hear a lot about education. I hear quite a lot about the economy and state employees that haven't received a raise in a long time. And I will definitely be supporting the negotiated pay raises for state workers. I think one of the ways you help stimulate the economy is you make sure people have some money in their pockets. And when a large segment of the economy hasn't gotten a raise in more than 4 years, there's not a lot of extra money out there. But I would say by far the biggest concern I hear going door to door is the negativity in the campaigns. And that's difficult to know how to do about it. I mean, you go up there and you do your piece to remain civil, to call into question when you see the rhetoric becoming more and more negative. I think at least during the session there can be some kind of control on that. You can work with your leadership to say, how can we have a real civil dialogue about things that matter to people. And we're not going to come from the same place, but we can respect one another's point of view and try to find a solution that brings us together and that supports the values that we all hold, I believe, about equality of opportunity, fairness, sound public investment.